Libby Lundberg, publisher of the Lundberg Survey. The average price of gas in the U.S. is $5.05 a gallon. America is listening to Fox News.
Today, over 20,000 foster kids in Chicagoland are depending on you, your family, and friends for help. Maybe you've been looking for a local foster care home to support. One of those homes is right here locally, Lydia Home. Lydia Home is a Christian nonprofit organization that's been faithfully serving children and families throughout Chicagoland for over 100 years by providing hope, healing, and home. There continues to be significant growth in the number of children within the foster care system, and today, Lydia wants to remind you the power of one. One donation can impact a child's life this month, and if you feel led, one monthly donation can impact a child's life all year long. You, your friends, and family have the heart to support these children in care who need you. The question is, will you take that step today? Please visit Lydia Home's website for more information, or you can head right to lydiahome.org/hope. That's LYDIA home.org/hope. There's something we all have in common: junk. A lot of it taking up space in our garages and basements. For your summer cleanouts, get rid of it. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is leading the charge in Chicago's west and northwest suburbs with superior residential and commercial junk removal and hauling services. They're veteran-owned and operated and pride themselves on doing it the military way, with respect, integrity, and trust. No matter what junk you have, old furniture, appliances, mattresses, construction debris, the J-Dog Junk Removal team of veterans will take care of it all. Most importantly, they've taken the sustainability pledge to keep junk out of landfills by recycling and donating. Schedule your free estimate today. Visit jdog.com. That's the letter J, dog.com. And be sure to check out all their positive reviews. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. If you don't want it, they do. Visit jdog.com today. That's the letter J, dog.com.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice: don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
AM560 The Answer. This live program is sponsored by Safer USA OT Media Group. It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Our guest in the studio tonight is Judge John Noverini. Judge Noverini presently serves as a circuit court trial judge in Kane County's 16th Judicial Circuit and is running for the Illinois Supreme Court. To participate in tonight's show, call our studio at 312-642-5600 or watch and interact live on YouTube On Target Radio. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Judge, nice having you in this evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Gretchen. Good to see you.
Yeah. I went over your bio, and you have a pretty eclectic past. You didn't. It's not like you went to high school, went to college, and then said, "I'm going to be a lawyer."
Right.
You were in banking for one.
Yep. Banking. Started out in banking. Went to law school. Undergraduate was Moody Bible Institute. Graduate was Northeastern Illinois University, and then law school, IT Chicago Kent College of Law. And then went right from law school into banking. Started working at American National Bank and Trust Company in Chicago, did their workouts, did their compliance work, did some bankruptcy work. So I got a good background in banking. Then what took me out to Kane County was I got an offer from a bank, which I couldn't refuse, to run their bank in Carpentersville. And I did that for 5 years. And then a couple of my buddies from lawyers from downtown, we got together and decided to start our own bank. and we did that. We started raising capital in '99. Back then, all you needed was $3 million to capitalize a bank, and then we opened it in 2000. It was American Heartland Bank and Trust in Sugar Grove. Now it's First Secure Bank in Sugar Grove. And then, so I do have a background in not only government, but also the private sector.
And tell me a little bit about dispute resolution.
Dispute resolution, mediation. I was a mediator in Kane County for a number of years.
And was that as a judge, or is that?
No, that was as an attorney. Did that for a number of years. It was a good experience. And that's really the best result. The worst results when you're in court is when the judge has to make the final decision. And we do that, man. That's what we get paid to do. But it's usually a better result, especially in family law cases. And I served 4 years as a presiding judge in the family law division, where the parties can come together and resolve their differences. I mean, I always tell parents, you could, especially in child custody cases, you guys can resolve it and figure out what's best for your children. Or if you can't, then I will. And I'm the government. And you really want the government telling you what to do with your children. And most of the times they were able to resolve it. But sometimes, regrettably, they hated each other more than they loved their kids. And then the court, the judge would have to make that decision, the government. And I always thought that was the worst possible result.
Now, you're up in Lake County, right?
No, I'm in Kane County.
Kane County, yeah. Kane County. So, just to get it out, you were a Democrat. We say that very quietly.
I ran as a Democrat.
So
I was never really a Democrat.
So that's worth mentioning.
Yeah. I was raised in Cook County, Chicago, Northwest Side. We didn't really know what Republicans were. This is back in the 70s. But in the 80s, I was a young man, in my early 20s, and guess who came on the scene? Ronald Reagan. All right? And Ronald Reagan explained to me, and it sunk in very clearly, what conservatism is. Smaller, limited government, lower taxes, and less regulation. And that was pretty much his 1980 campaign. That's what he kept pounding away on, and it sunk in with me. So I became a conservative Republican back in the early 80s. When I came out to Kane County in 92, I got involved with the Republican Party in Kane County. It was a Republican precinct committeeman from 96 to 2008. I was elected 6 times as a Republican precinct committeeman, and actually elected twice as the Dundee Township Republican chairman. So I was chairman of the Dundee Township Republican Party, and then twice elected as a Republican to the Kane County Board. Served 6 years on the Kane County Board, 4 years as a village trustee. And I think it's important that we get people involved, not only, especially now, we need to get people involved in the school boards, the library boards. We need to take these boards back.
Yes.
But what happened in 2007 is the Democrats came into Kane County like they've done in Lake County, and they just did it now in DuPage County. They did it in Winnebago County. They gerrymandered me into what they call a sub-circuit, judicial sub-circuit, which was unwinnable by a Republican. So I resigned as chairman of the Dundee Township Republican Party, and I ran as a conservative Democrat, and the conservatives stuck with me. My conservatives stuck with me, and in 2008, I ran and won a circuit court trial judge. But then in 2014, I ran for retention, and it's nonpartisan, and then in 2020, nonpartisan. But as a judge, you could do that because I never had to compromise my principles or my values as a judge.
You're listening on Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. I guess this evening is Judge John Noverini, who is taking a shot at the Illinois Supreme Court. When you look at that, so how long have you been in the circuit court? How long have you been doing that?
35 years in the legal profession, 14 years as a circuit court trial judge.
So what prompts you? Why do you want to go to the Supreme Court?
Well, first of all, the Illinois Supreme Court, these seats don't come along very often. They're 10-year terms, right. And Bob Thomas retired, great judge, great guy, good conservative, Christian guy, retired in, I believe, 2020, and that triggers an election in 2022. So, and Bob hadn't retired, we wouldn't be running. But, my background, I was presiding judge of the Family Law Division, presiding judge of the Criminal Law Division, where I've done close to 100 criminal jury trials, presiding judge of the probate court, guardianship court, mental health courts. So I've got a wide range of experience on the bench. So the timing is perfect. It was right timing, and we have an opportunity in this cycle to actually flip the court from 4-3 Democrat to what I say 4-3 conservative, or I prefer conservative or Republican. So why am I running? Because I think it's important. I think it's vital that we take the court back from the Democrats. They've controlled the Illinois Supreme Court since 1964, if you can believe that.
Wow.
They've controlled the Illinois Supreme Court. Not only do they control the courts in Cook County, the circuit and appellate courts, but now they're coming for the circuit and appellate courts in the collar counties, and that's the whole reason behind these sub-circuits.
You have quite a history of volunteer work. You've done a lot of different things, but the one that intrigued me the most is you became involved with the Salvation Army, but you weren't like out ringing a bell in front of Jewel.
No, that's
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. In 2001, my wife, Saray Rodriguez, I got a remarkable wife. She's running my campaigns. She's doing a phenomenal job along with all of our volunteers. She was on a project. I was a practicing attorney at the time, but she was on a project with her company where she started out in San Francisco for a couple of weeks and ended up in Singapore for a couple of weeks. And then, she circumnavigated the globe, ended up in London, and I figured I'd join her in London for the last couple of weeks of her project. It happened to be late August, early September of 2001. So the last week, we took a week off after she finished up her work, and that was the week of 9/11. And we happened to be in Scotland at the time. Wow. So we were actually on St. Andrews Golf Course on 9/11, and we had gotten at about 2:30. We left St. Andrews about 2:30, which was about 8:30 here Chicago time. Sure. And we at that time we listened to books on tape. We'd get in the car and we drove up through Isle of the Skies, and we got in there about 5:30, 6:30, which was about 12:30 Chicago time. And I'll never forget it. We walk into the hotel and the woman at the desk says, "Are you Americans?" And I still get a little emotional when I talk about this. I said, "Yes, we're Americans." She says, "Have you heard what's happened?" And I said, "No, what's happened?" And I'll never forget with her Scottish accent. She said, "Your country's been attacked and your borders are closed." I said, "What did you say?" She said, "Your country's been attacked and your borders are closed." So we go up to our room, turn the TV on, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. But then they focused in on a Salvation Army canteen truck right down at Ground Zero within hours of this happening. And I told Saray, when I get back, I'm going to look up the Salvation Army and see if I can get involved. And, 17 years later, I was on the board, and I was chairman of the Salvation Army Advisory Board in Elgin for 12 years. So it's a great organization. I recommend it. They're there when people need them.
Yeah. You just you've had your fingers in a lot of pies. You've done a lot of different things.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I've been able to get a good education. Really have never been out of work. Always been able to find work. My interest, what I really wanted to do, David, when I got out of college, is I wanted to be a pilot. I got out of high school, I got my pilot's license. I went to college, tried to join the Air Force. They said, "Well, we'll take you, but you'll never get near an airplane," because my eyesight was horrendous. So then I ended up, going to law school. But I've always loved flying. I've got my private instrument, commercial, multi-engine. I've been flying for over 40 years. My wife and I love flying, so I do enjoy aviation. But my other interest was history. I love history. Got my master's degree in history. Wanted to teach high school history for a while. Started doing the student teaching, and then got into the schools and realized it wasn't a good match, me and high school kids.
You probably found out how much money they make.
Been there, done that.
Right. So I figured now the next thing would be either a PhD in history, or a law school. And I chose the law school route.
I'm just going to take a wild stab at this, but you probably have better earning potential as a lawyer than as a history teacher.
Yeah, right.
Just thinking, outside the box.
I'm guessing that was a winner.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Well, banker, actually. Banking was very
that would be
very
lucrative,
good.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about why this race for the Supreme Court is such a big deal, which it isn't, particularly in the state of Illinois. It's a big deal. So we're going to talk about that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you are listening to AM560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Maybe don't have such a racing bike like Biden had. Maybe go with the girl's bike with the training wheels that Obama used to ride around in. Just for safety's sake.
Or get a big wheel or a green monster.
I love the green monster.
Oh,
I had a green monster.
I had a big wheel, and I rode that thing so much that the tires wore out.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Hi, it's Sean. As you know, Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best night's sleep of your life. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike's a capitalist. His offerings continue to expand, and you're in luck because it's time for a buy one, get one free extravaganza on multiple MyPillow products. Now is the time to join millions of Americans who have changed the quality of their sleep with MyPillow. Right now, buy one, get one free pricing on MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, 6-piece towel sets, and the Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows, and so much more. Just go to the radio listener specials page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code LIBERTY or call 1-800-489-0201. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to buy one, get one free on select products. You'll also receive Mike's book absolutely free with any purchase. Call 1-800-489-0201 or go to the radio listener specials page at MyPillow.com. Promo code LIBERTY.
Almost every time you enter the room, you say to yourself, we really need to do something with this room. It's your bathroom, and it's time to get it done. Matrix Home Solutions does bathrooms. Great bathrooms. The bathroom you want. If it's a remodel or a complete redo, Matrix Home Solutions is the call to make. Matrix is the home solution for bathrooms. You'll be surprised how little the cost and how quickly the transformation can happen to your bathroom. Instead of watching the home improvement shows and thinking, hey, that'd be nice, make it happen. Matrix Home Solutions is a local company, not a chain that has limited options and unskilled people. Set up your appointment online at matrixhomesolutions.com. Need to finance it? To do that too. Right now, Matrix Home Solutions is offering a free shower or tub installation, but it's a very limited offer. So get online and schedule that free consultation. Matrix Home Solutions, the solution to an old, outdated, non-functional bathroom. MatrixHomesolutions.com. MatrixHomesolutions.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
It's election time, and that means you have the opportunity to elect someone who knows that government should be of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that is Diane M. Harris, candidate for State Senate, 43rd District. Diane Harris supports the Second Amendment and understands it's all about defending the rights of citizens. You can count on Diane Harris to back the blue, so the blue can back you and keep our neighborhood safe. As a small business owner, Diane Harris is dedicated to promoting a better economy because she knows what it's like to work and raise a family. And Diane Harris will find and champion cuts in this runaway tax and spend environment. Diane Harris will stand for you. Please stand for her and a better government. On June 28th, elect Diane M. Harris for State Senate, 43rd District. Paid for by friends of Diane M. Harris for State Senate.
And welcome back to On Target Radio. Our guest tonight is Judge John Noverini. He is running for Illinois Supreme Court. So I'm an elected official. I think all elections, all races are important. But why is this race important, in your opinion?
As I think I mentioned previous, this is the first time since 1964 that the Republicans have an opportunity to flip the Supreme Court. I mean, Illinois, as you know, is a one-party state. Right? The Democrats control the House, they control the Senate, they control the governorship, they control the appellate court and circuit courts in Cook County. But worst of all, they control the education. They control education. They control the schools. And they're going, like as I mentioned, they're going after the Collar County is what they're doing is they're gerrymandering sub-circuits. So this is important. If we could flip the Supreme Court from a 4-3 Democrat to 4-3 conservative, you're going to get a different opinions coming down. I mean, what you have is, conservatives like myself. I'm an originalist. I believe you interpret the Constitution as it was written by the founders, or in the liberals, what they believe is that the Constitution is a living and breathing document that changes with the culture. And if that's the case, it's a meaningless document because it says whatever you want it to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just thinking before, as I was, thinking about, Republicans and the Constitution, we're always saying Constitution, Constitution, Constitution. I'm thinking, when was the last time I ever heard a liberal use the word Constitution in a positive way? Like, we should interpret the Constitution or we need to follow it. It's always, we need to change it. We need to get rid of it. We need to abolish it or whatever. And it just makes me sick.
Yeah, say what you want about Donald Trump. I mean, the 2016 election was so important. I mean, I kept telling people, it's about the United States Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, he put on 3 solid, what I would say, constitutionalists. They believe in following the law, and that's what we get with this Roe v. Wade case coming down. They followed the law. The majority opinion, came down 6-3, but it was a case that should never come before the court, Roe v. Wade in 73. And that's pretty much what the opinion says. They got it wrong in 73. And so now they've corrected it. They reversed Roe v. Wade, and it comes back to the states where it should have been from the beginning.
You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Our guest this evening is Judge John Noverini, who is running for the Illinois Supreme Court. If we could just take 5 minutes maybe, actually 6 minutes and 34 seconds, if we could take that. I don't think everybody thoroughly understands how the court system works. And how do you go to an Illinois Supreme Court, for instance, and not the United States Supreme Court? What's the road? What's the map? How is this determined?
Well, you got state law and you have federal law, right? So, you start out in the circuit court in state law. It goes from the circuit court in the states to the appellate court in the states to the Illinois Supreme Court. Now, if there's a constitutional issue, that's the way to get it into the federal courts. But for the most part, the state laws will stay in the state courts, and the federal laws will stay in the federal courts.
Now, appellate court, though, is used. I have a case in court. I lose. I appeal.
Yes, you have a right to appeal.
But the state, do they have a right to appeal?
Yeah, you have a right to appeal.
So it can go either way. So coming out of a criminal trial in a circuit court, it's probably going to end up with some kind of an appeal, one way, one side or the other.
Well, no, if the defendant is found guilty, he can appeal. But if he's found not guilty, the state cannot appeal.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
Right.
So the state can't appeal.
Cannot appeal. It'd be double jeopardy. If you're found innocent, you're
right.
Innocent.
Okay.
Or not guilty. Found not guilty.
And what's the bar to go to the Supreme Court? Appellate court basically decides whether or not there was a mistake made at trial.
Right. You have a right to appeal to the appellate court. You have a right to appeal. Now, we've got 5 districts in Illinois. All right, so you got 5 different appellate courts. So normally what will get you into the Supreme Court is if you get a conflict between 2 of the appellate courts. Say the 2nd district comes down one way and then the 3rd district comes down another way. So now we have a conflict in the law. Well, what we want in the law is consistency.
So let me just ask you, interrupt. So if that's the case and I'm in one jurisdiction and they rule against me, I'm going to cite that the appellate court in the other jurisdiction said differently, and that gives you standing to go on?
You could then you have a good chance of the Supreme Court taking it up. They don't have to. Now, the Supreme Court, you don't have a right to take it up to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court doesn't want conflicts in the appellate courts. So more than likely, they'd probably take it up and make a final decision. They'd overrule one appellate court and affirm the other appellate court.
And isn't that basically the way the U.S. Supreme Court operates, too? They're looking for inconsistencies?
Yeah, and that's how you get, eventually it bubbles up to the U.S. Supreme Court. But again, the Supreme Court doesn't have to take the case. They'll pick and choose what cases they're going to take.
So to apply, to be voted into the state Supreme Court, are there any requirements? I mean, can anybody be run for state Supreme Court?
You have to be an attorney in good standing, and you have to be registered to vote. in order to run for Illinois Supreme Court.
And that's it.
Yeah, you don't even have to be a judge. Yeah, you don't even have to be a judge to get on the U.S. Supreme Court. All you have to be is nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. In Illinois, you at least have to be a lawyer. I mean, you don't have to be a lawyer to get on the Illinois Supreme Court. I mean, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow.
You don't have to be a lawyer to be in the United States Supreme Court.
Constitution simply says nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate.
There's hope for me yet.
But in Illinois, you need to at least be an attorney to run for judge.
So all the jaw wagging that the Democrats are doing since the Second Amendment and Roe v. Wade, all this jaw wagging about it's not political, it's not supposed to be political, it's 100% political.
In a sense, it is political. But again, the difference, the question you ask a judge, David, is what is your judicial philosophy? If you're a conservative like I am, my judicial philosophy is I'm an originalist. I follow the law. I believe you interpret the Constitution as was written. Now, if you're a Democrat and a liberal, you probably don't believe that. You believe that it's a living and breathing document that changes with the culture, and that's how we get bad law. You go back to the Dred Scott case in 1858, the Supreme Court got it wrong. They found Dred to be a piece of property instead of a human being. The result of that was, 8 years later or 7 years later, we get 620,000 Americans are killed in the Civil War because, the Supreme Court didn't get it quite right. Perhaps if they'd gotten that case right, we could have averted a Civil War.
Oops.
Right. Same thing in 1896 with the Plessy versus Ferguson case. In 1868, they passed the 14th Amendment. Blacks and whites are supposed to be equal, but the Democrat-controlled South passed all these Jim Crow laws, segregation. They bring the Plessy versus Ferguson case. If they gotten that case right, instead of getting it, they got that case wrong. They didn't follow the law. They came up with the separate but equal doctrine where overnight it was the United States legally was segregated, and the separate but equal doctrine, the equal part was never equal. The blacks always had inferior education, inferior accommodations, and so forth and so on. It wasn't until 1954 when Brown versus Board of Education, a case that is founded in constitutional law, overrode Plessy versus Ferguson and ended segregation. Didn't end it overnight. We still feel the repercussions of Plessy 125 years later in this country.
Sure.
And the same thing with the whole line of Japanese internment cases in the 1940s. They got that wrong. It was an embarrassment. They got it wrong. And that takes us to Roe v. Wade in 73. Again, they legislated from the bench. They didn't follow the law. They became judicial activists. These judges became legislators, and that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to follow the law. The legislators are supposed to legislate. That's what we have elections for in this country. We elect representatives to represent us, and they make the law, and the judges follow the law. They determine whether it's constitutional or unconstitutional, but they should not be legislating from the bench.
So if you think about it, I mean, these Republicans or constitutionalists or originalists, as you said, kind of the last line of defense for the Constitution, really.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes down to
right. I mean, I carry the Constitution with me wherever I go. If we lose this document, it's over.
Sure.
And we came close in 2016 to losing this. Can you imagine if Hillary Clinton named 3 Supreme Court justices in addition to the one that President Biden just named?
Yeah.
It'd be over. This document would be gone.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about that ISBA, Illinois State Bar Association. All that more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
You listen to this radio station for truth at a time when truth is an endangered species. Now, we want to invite you to listen to our sister TV network, Salem News Channel. You'll find us in the App Store or online at salemnewschannel.com or on Roku or similar devices. You'll see Hugh Hewitt in the morning, followed by Mike Gallagher. You'll see Dennis Prager, followed by Sebastian Gorka. And at 5 Eastern Time, our newest star, Andrew Wilkow, with Dinesh D'Souza at 7 Eastern. Salem News Channel, the antidote to the mainstream media.
Fox News, I'm Richard Jordan. President Biden is in Germany at the G7 summit, urging fellow world leaders to remain united in support of Ukraine.
Mr. Biden says the group has already agreed to ban Russian gold imports. The Russian invasion is a key focus of the meetings, which will stretch over the next 2 days. G7 leaders also will discuss how to combat skyrocketing oil prices and inflation.
Fox's John Scott. This weekend, demonstrations following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade remained mostly peaceful across the country. But in Portland, Oregon, Protesters damaged property.
According to Portland police, at least 60 people dressed in all black broke into some businesses like banks and coffee shops and also vandalized a school van and also a pregnancy center.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Hi, this is Pastor Calvin from Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights. Would you send your child to a school that taught 2 + 2 = 5? Why then would you send your child to a school that teaches girls can be boys and boys can be girls, or that humans evolved from apes, or that children should apologize or be embarrassed for their skin color, or teaches sexual perversion to children? Get your children out of godless government schools. We can help. For over 50 years, we have operated a Christian school in Arlington Heights, and we have served hundreds of thousands of families locally and across our nation, and even many foreign countries through our homeschool program. We have pioneered the modern homeschool movement, and we can help you from a single book to a complete curriculum or an on-campus enrollment. Visit ChristianLiberty.com to learn more or to schedule a tour of our excellent 12-acre facility in Arlington Heights. Take action today. Visit ChristianLiberty.com.
Summertime! Now that I've got your attention, let me tell you all about us. Whoa, tough crowd. Anybody out there? Hello?
Fighting to be heard in today's competitive digital world?
Anyone?
Too often, digital campaigns fail because it's being handled by someone inexperienced.
It's time for Salem Surround, because our specialists break through all the clutter and put your message and your business front and center. Our team is the best of the best with years of experience and superior ideas and innovations. Salem Surround is obsessed with your success. No cookie cutter treatments here. Everything is tailored to you, your company, and your message.
With Salem Surround, you get it all. From up-to-the-minute analytic reports and insight to managing every aspect of your digital and marketing needs.
So let's turn up the volume on your business. Get started with Salem Surround today.
Learn more at surroundchicago.com. surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
Dr. Gorka here, and you know me. I am very cynical about products, especially those that claim to help people suffering from pain. So when I tell you that Relief Factor truly works, I want you to know that I mean it. I suffered from a stiff lower back for almost a decade, one so painful it made it difficult to kneel in church on Sundays. When I finally decided to give Relief Factor a try, I didn't ever imagine that I would find myself free of the pain, but that's what happened. Now I take Relief Factor every day. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it worked for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
And our guest this evening is Judge John Noverini, who is running for Illinois Supreme Court. So, Judge, tell me a little bit, what is the Illinois State Bar Association? Because we're going to talk about this for a bit.
Well, it's the Bar Association that represents attorneys across the state of Illinois. There's approximately 30,500 attorneys in Illinois. I'm not quite sure how many belong to the ISBA. I've never been a member of the ISBA since I was a judge. It's a lawyers association, basically. It represents attorneys.
Is it loosely like a union? I mean, they don't set scale.
No, it's an association. I wouldn't call it a union. It's an association.
It's a professional association.
Right.
So,
Sorry.
how did you, well, what can I say? We have little signals internal that you don't get to see and probably shouldn't. But anyway, so the Illinois State Bar Association makes recommendations. I don't think they rebuke, but they do make recommendations, do they not?
Correct.
And my understanding is they don't like you.
Yeah, let me describe myself. I'm a non-establishment, independent, grassroots conservative. All right, always been elected. This is our 5th campaign. We've never lost an election. We've always been elected. Twice county board, once village board, once judge, twice nonpartisan as a retained twice as a judge, 2014 and 2020. So I'm an outsider, not an insider. And the ISBA has a rating system. They have recommended, not recommended, highly recommended. And they send out questionnaires, and they want you to sit for an interview. And I've never, when I first ran for judge, I ran against a sitting judge, which was something you don't normally do. All right, the lawyers, they have their pecking order. And so the first time I got rated, when it came to diversity, I got rated like 50%. And then they found out that I was married to a Mexican American, and all of a sudden they didn't know what to do about that. And then they rated me low on health too. I was in my early 50s at the time, and I didn't realize I had health problems. I felt I was very, very healthy.
How do they know?
But they do it. It's political. It's a political thing. They want their people. Now, so this last time around, they send out. I already decided they send out a questionnaire with some woke questions about diversity and how you treat different minorities in your courtroom and this. I treat everybody the same that comes into my courtroom. Justice is supposed to be blind. I don't care who you are, what you are, or who you think you are. You're going to get treated the same when you come into my courtroom. Now, the other reason I didn't want to participate is because Supreme Court justices, they not only set the rules, they set standards of practice, and they even discipline attorneys. So for me to go with my hat in my hand, sit before the Illinois State Bar Association, and ask for their recommendation or their rating or their endorsement is obviously, to me, a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. We shouldn't be doing it. To me, it's unethical for a judge to go and ask for that recommendation. Now, the ISBA, they have a vested interest in who sits on the Illinois Supreme Court. Trust me, they have a vested interest in that. And then the third thing that bothered me was they said, well, Judge, if you don't answer our questions and sit for our interview, we're going to give you a not recommended rating if you don't cooperate with us. I find that contemptuous. If they're in my court, tried to intimidate me, bully me,
sure,
or threaten me, I'd hold them in contempt and I'd lock them up. So I wasn't going to participate, and I felt it was very inappropriate. So I don't seek their recommendation. I don't seek their rating. I don't seek their endorsement.
I guess the question comes to mind, and you may not want to answer it, but the question that comes to mind is if you walk down the street anywhere in Will County and did not encounter an attorney and said to someone who's not an attorney, how much do you value the recommendations of the Illinois State Bar Association? They would look at you like, huh?
Right. Yeah. Outside the legal circles, it's not really
right. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the value of it is to begin with, because the voters are the people you care about, and I would venture, wouldn't you, Gretchen? I mean, I don't think the average voter has any knowledge of it.
They wouldn't. But what happens is when something negative like that comes out, then the opposition, his primary opponents, then capitalize on that. They put out mailers. And they say, well, this is why you should vote for me over him, because I'm highly recommended and he's not recommended. Well, if you don't know the backstory, then you might buy that as some sort of valid, rating system.
Right, and having heard the backstory, I completely agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it just seems crazy. Now, the only thing I don't understand, like, to be an attorney, you have to pass what they call the bar, right?
Correct.
So what's the difference between that bar and the bar association? I'm assuming they're completely separate.
Well, no, once you become an attorney, you're a member of the bar, but you're not a member of the Illinois State Bar Association. It's a separate organization.
Okay, and that's what I think where people would get confused when they said, oh, well, the Illinois State Bar Association, they might think, well, that's the bar and that's the standard and that's...
Sure.
We got just a couple of seconds left, but the bar. What is the bar?
Well, it's the attorneys. Once you go to your local law school, you pass the bar, you become a member of the bar. Basically, is what they call it. It's in the courtroom. It's a little
Exactly.
gate, right?
That's
you
what I was
get in
getting
front of the
at.
bar. If you're an attorney, you can go in front of the bar. But if you're not an attorney, you can't unless the judge says, "Come on up here."
Most people have no knowledge of what that term is. The bar. They use it, but they don't know what it is. It's actually functionally it's a place that you do not cross.
Exactly.
If you're not an attorney.
Exactly right.
I found that interesting.
That is.
I did.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
We're going to have to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about every Republican's favorite subject, court packing by the Democrats. So that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm sleeping better. I wake up better. I was so groggy all the time. I didn't want to get up. When I wake up, I'm awake. I've got more energy. It's with my situation. I had 2 surgeries a year ago within 3 months. I had a hip replaced and a major back surgery. The circumstances where the surgeries were close together, and they knocked me down pretty good. And I'm feeling much stronger now. I just bought a bicycle, ready to start getting back into shape because I have the energy to do so.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
I probably should have had George cue up some music, that the spooky sort of stuff. I don't know if he has any back there, but he's just there you go. So, I think I could ask him anything, and he would have it within about 10 seconds.
Just about,
Yeah, it's astounding.
He's good at his job.
The spooky music thing is, and this, I think Republicans talk more about this than the Democrats do, but they talk about it enough, packing the court. And that's a serious problem. Trump appointed 2 people because 2 people left. They went off the court. He didn't stack
Actually,
anything.
there were 3.
I'm sorry, 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because I forgot
Yeah.
to.
Anyway, but the point is all he did was his job. Now they're talking because they don't like the results of what's happened, packing the court. First of all, what is packing the court, and how can you actually do it?
Well, nationally on the federal bench, they add additional judges to the Supreme Court. Right now, we've got 9 judges on the Supreme Court. In the past, I think we've had as many as 12, but there's been,
There's no defined number. Isn't
no,
it a
there's
big
no defined
bracket?
number. They could do it. It could end up like if they start this court packing, then each administration will end up like Venezuela with like
Right.
70 people on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bad idea to pack the Supreme Court. I mean, FDR tried it. He didn't get away with it. They stopped him. It was a terrible idea back in the 30s, and it's a terrible idea today.
Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said she didn't support it.
It's not a good idea.
Now, let's say they gained, control of everything and they really wanted to pack it. Could they actually add 3 on at one time, or would that have to happen over a period of time?
They could do whatever they want to do.
Sure,
Right.
as long as they have the votes.
Scary stuff.
Well, I think they talked about going up to 13. They want to keep it at an odd number so that you don't have tie.
Well, they want to get enough Democrats on there to outweigh the Republicans.
Right.
Can you do that in the Illinois Supreme Court? No, you can't because it's elected.
Right, it's elected.
Yeah.
But what they're doing, Democrats, again, the Democrats know what they're doing. They've controlled the Supreme Court since 1964. They control the appellate and circuit courts in Cook County, and now they're coming for the collar counties. And how they're doing this is they're creating sub-circuits. They gerrymander gerrymandering is worse than mail-in voting. They create these sub-circuits that are unwinnable by the opposing party, in this case the Republicans. And that's one of the reasons people don't vote, because they know that their candidate can't win. So they're creating these sub-circuits. They've created them in Lake County, Kane County. They're doing it this cycle in DuPage County. They've done it in Winnebago County. They come in, they gerrymander. We have circuits, and then within the circuits they create sub-circuits, and then they draw these sub-circuits so that it favors the Democrat. And so they say it's for the reasons of we need a more diverse bench, but in reality it's to elect more Democrats. So that's what they're doing. They're packing the courts with Democrats because really the circuit court is a training ground for the appellate and the Supreme Court.
Right, it's a feeder.
Right.
Sure. It's there's nothing you can really do to stop them. It's just sheer number of votes in the
right. There's
legislature.
Nothing, Republicans can't do anything to stop it. I mean, it's technically it's legal, but what they can do is again the fair maps came up and it was defeated 4-3. It's 4-3. 4 Democrats voted not to allow it, and 3 Republicans voted for it. I mean, they wanted to get it on the ballot, let the people vote. But it was, again, a political decision instead of a legal decision.
And as Gretchen says, I mean, it's just bad politics because if they stack the court, then now the gauntlet's on the table. So the next Republican person that gets elected as president can go, well, I'm going to put it back to the way it was. I'm going to add 3 more. I mean, it gets out of hand. I mean, you can't manage it. And so it's no wonder that even Ruth Bader Ginsburg was against it because it's just bad policy to do
Right,
that.
and what happens is, again, Illinois, ever-expanding government, more judges, more courtrooms, more bailiffs, more pension. It doesn't end. We got to get control of the government. We got to reduce the size. Go back to Ronald Reagan. Reduce the size of government, smaller, limited government, lower taxes, and less regulation. And
the interesting thing, I teach concealed carry. And we talk about you really don't want to have your day in court because you never know how it's going to turn out. People have no idea how much it costs to go to court. If you go like criminal, let's say illegal possession or something, what does a trial like that cost?
Well, if you're smart, you're going to hire an attorney, and that's attorneys are usually going for $350, $400 an hour, depending upon the county and the case. It's very costly. I mean, at the end of the day, it could be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, easily. And people don't quite. Here's the thing. There are people who actually believe, and I don't mean to demean the court system, don't get out of the collar, but there are people who think it's this very fair system. And what I always tell clients is, let me tell you something, in court, truth is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the perception that the jury gets. And you have a good person at talking who's guilty, he's got an edge. You got a person who's not guilty. I mean, it's a very risky system.
Yeah, I mean, you try to avoid court, like I say, you always try to settle. But like as a criminal trial judge, I did close to 100 criminal jury trials, and the juries usually get it right. Maybe not for the right reason, but they usually get it right.
They sort it out when they listen to people. Yeah. It's an interesting thing. People who have never done it should go and spend a day sitting in criminal court and just watch, or for that matter, even civil, because you get a good divorce going or property issue, and that can be bloodier than and
well,
criminal.
for the most part, it can be pretty boring as well. But yeah, you get some interesting.
But
cases.
you see how it works.
Right.
People need to understand better how things work, I think.
Yeah.
But okay, you got something coming up?
I have a couple brief items.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Gretchen is going to do some action items, and then we'll ask Judge Noverini how people can get a hold of it if you want to make a contribution or help out or whatever they can do. So all that and more when we return with On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hi, friends. This is Katie Pavlich from townhall.com. The liberal media and big tech are working overtime to promote the left's anti-American agenda and silence me and the reporters on our team at Town Hall. We have to bring the truth to the American people, free from the spin of big media and the censorship of those big tech companies. We're constantly covering the news that matters, exposing the COVID lies, the leftist rot and crime surge in our cities, the illegal alien crisis at our southern border, and all of Joe Biden's unconstitutional overreach, including the critical race theory attacks on our children and grandchildren by school boards and the Department of Justice. I hope you'll support our vital team of conservative journalists today. You can do so by going to townhallaction.com. While cancel culture and big tech comes for us, the direct support of our VIP members helps make us uncancelable. Please join our team by becoming a VIP member at townhallaction.com. That's townhallaction.com.
Grandview buys homes, and we've been buying homes in Chicagoland since 2009. Back then, home sellers would hear our promise: we'll buy your home as is, no matter the condition, and close in as little as 10 days. And some would ask, is this too good to be true? Our answer then and now is simple. Yes, it's good, and yes, it's true. Today, we are no longer alone in the direct home buying business. Now, big out-of-state corporations are giving it a try. One of them, the one that rhymes with pillow, has jumped out just as fast as they jumped in. Grandview's different. Our home offices are right here in St. Charles. Our home buyers average 25 years in residential real estate throughout Chicagoland. We've bought or sold thousands of homes in your neighborhoods. For many of you, selling your home may be the single most important transaction of your life. If you want to sell your home as is, no matter the condition, with no repairs and no hassles whatsoever, call or visit the name you know and the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
If you live in Illinois and have not voted yet, don't forget to vote Tuesday, June 28th. If you have questions about candidates, feel free to reach out to us via Facebook. Safer USA is now offering classes in Geneva, Waterman, and Bonfield. Saturday, July 16th, long-range rifle, taught by Ed Janka. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
So, Judge Noverini, right now someone is dying to get a hold of you to leave their inheritance to you for your or whatever. How do people get a hold of you?
Simply, website is Noverini.com. It's Noverini.com.
Well, that was short.
That's easy. Yeah.
3 more minutes to go. What as a candidate running for office, what do you need most, really?
Well, our volunteers have been remarkable. We ran a grassroots campaign. We've had hundreds of volunteers. Even collecting signatures in the beginning, we only needed, as it turned out, 357, but we collected over 5,000. Like I said, this is our 5th campaign. We know you want to get a lot more, and it's part of your campaigning. You meet people, you get them to sign, and you explain who you are. But yeah, we've had hundreds and hundreds of volunteers helping in this campaign. So it's been remarkable. We've worked hard. This has been a very good campaign. We've run a clean campaign. We abided by the code of judicial ethics, have not attacked our opponent, haven't said anything negative about our opponents. So we're very proud of our campaign. Very proud of it.
It's a very difficult thing. We talk about this quite a bit on the show, but it's a very difficult thing to run a campaign, and particularly to be effective. Is it not, Gretchen? Since you have to do it.
Well, it's difficult to do it and hold down a job.
Right.
Which,
judges, we work every day.
Sure, which most people do.
Right. Most of us Republicans, at least, do that. So yes, it's challenging.
And it appears that the Democrats have an army, like they have a standing army.
I think they do.
I mean, have you encountered that? It seems like the Democrats don't have a problem coming up with people to walk, knock on doors and stuff. I mean, they have this existing army.
Right. Well, we're going to deal with that in the general. Get past the primary, focus on the primary now. But yeah, the Democrats, that's why they control the House, the Senate, and the governor's office. They control. They know what they're doing.
Have you seen 2,000 Mules?
Yes, I have.
Is that not an impressive movie?
Upset me. It was very upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally black and white, flat out proof. When you see somebody walk up to a box in the middle of the night with handfuls of ballots, handfuls, and it's on video.
Very disturbing. I mean,
and he shows up the next night with another load.
Right. It's to me, I think gerrymandering is more egregious than even the mail-in voting. But I personally, I'll be voting on Tuesday. I always vote on election day. I believe in voting on election. We need to get back to voting on election day.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. It's the whole process is unfortunately open to scrutiny. Gretchen came across an interesting point, and that is the dead don't get removed.
Right. So it is when someone passes away, it's the family's responsibility to contact the county clerk's office of any county and have their family member removed. And then they may have to sign something, sign an affidavit or something that the person is deceased, which is ridiculous. The county clerk also produces death certificates, so they know who's dead.
Right. I had one woman in Kendall County. We go to these meetings, and she'd been living in this house 10 years, and she received 5 applications from the family that lived there 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And she said, what's to stop me from filling these applications out, mailing them in, and getting these ballots sent to me? Nothing. Crazy.
Well, being a law-abiding citizen should stop
you,
you, but that won't
She
stop
took it back to the clerk's office. Right.
You're on the wrong side of the fence. Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate that you came in tonight, Judge Noverini. We certainly wish you the best in your race for the Supreme Court.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have for On Target Radio. Be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup